جاهزين؟ بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبع هداه. أما بعد, alhamdulillah, we finished the ikhfa last week, and we can start with questions from last week for the ikhfa if you have any. Otherwise, today we were supposed to talk about the last lesson in this level 1. We have 13 survivors, active participants so far, alhamdulillah. So we are finishing the level 1 with 13 active participants. It's a good number. So before we start the last lesson, which is the noon, والميم المشددتان, the noon and the meme that have a shadda, just something that I kind of learned today about, and we talked about some of this stuff during Ramadan, if some of you remember, the way the Mus'haf is written. Sometimes we don't pay attention to how it is actually written. Something that we read more often than anything else is the Basmala, right? If you look at the Basmala in your Mus'haf, you'll find that it is written this way. So this is how it is written in your Mus'haf, right? Is that true? But actually the word, this word is supposed to be ismun, right? Or ismun. Ismun, which means name, or the name. And ismu is the name. So if we add B, which means with the name, then we were supposed to add it like this. This is how we were supposed to add it. Right? In classical Arabic, this is how you would add the B, which is with. But instead, in the Basmala, we don't have any alif there. Even though we don't pronounce it. If we add a B here, we are not going to pronounce the alif, but we're going to write it, right? But in the Basmala, it is not written. So they say this way of writing Bismi is only allowed in the Quran in the Basmala when the Basmala is complete. When you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, this is how you would write it. But anything short than that, it will be written like this. So let's say if you say Bismillah, without saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, then this is how you would write it. And I thought this was like interesting. Anywhere in the Quran, if the next time you read and you find this word Bismi, you will find that it is written with the alif. This has nothing to do with the lesson today, but this is something interesting that I came across yesterday.
Do you have examples of elsewhere where it shows?
I don't have any example in mind. Yeah, in Surah Hud, we can look at it quickly if you want. Surah Hud, probably around the 5th page or the 6th page of Surah Hud, if you want to look at it.
42.
Page 42. Ayah 42 in Surah Hud, if you want to look at it.
41, sorry.
41.
Without the alif.
It is without the alif. All right. It was supposed to be with the alif.
سبح باسم ربك. This is with the alif.
With the alif.
سبح باسم ربك.
In Surah
الواقعة والحق والعلق. العلق.
Okay.
All right, we can maybe somebody
74.
can verify it later on. And I could have misunderstood the part where it says when the basmala is complete. So we could verify it inshallah later on. So it is confirmed, Brother Mustafa is saying that in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, فَسَبِّحْ بِاسْمِ رَبِّكَ الْعَظِيمِ, I think towards the end of the surah.
In the middle and at the end, yes.
Yeah. You have this word written with the alif. All right, so going back to the lesson of today, the noon and the meme that have a shadda. So the noon and the meme that have a shadda are kind of different than any other letters that have a shadda. If you remember, if I take you back to the day we spoke about how many haraka does a letter have, the timing of a letter of the alphabet, and we agreed that. We almost agreed, except Brother Mahmoud, I remember, that raised the point. It is recorded in the video, and I did review it. I reviewed all the videos actually. The timing, I say it again, the timing of one letter is one haraka. Each letter in the Arabic language is one haraka. The only difference of opinion, if I might call it the difference of opinion, or the only thing that may be noted, which is different than the other letters, is the letter ba. The letter, the dad. The dad, when the dad has a sukun on it, when this letter has a sukun on it, they say, or at least some of them say, that it has one haraka and a quarter. One and a quarter. so it's a little bit more than a one haraka. And the good example here is the dad found. Did I mention the dad with the sukun? Okay, the dad with the sukun in the word in Surah Al-Fatiha towards the end. ولا الضالين غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. And this is similar to, of course, the dad here in the word dalin has a shadda, but it is similar to a dad with the sukun, because the shadda, as we explained before, it is double the letter, right? Whatever letter has a shadda, it is as if we have double that letter, with the first one having a sukun and the second one having the haraka that was on the shadda, right? So that's one thing to note. So when we say wala dhalin, it is because if you don't do this haraka and a quarter, the dad become so weak that you can hardly hear it, right? And you can go back to the recording, and I always remind you that it has to be good quality recording to be able to hear this. It's very subtle, sound, where you would hear that there is an internal sound. It's like internal, because the air is not coming out. When you say walab, the air is not coming out. And whenever the air doesn't come out, it's very hard to hear the noise. To make a noise, you have to open your mouth to let the air come out. When you speak, you open your mouth so that the air comes out and produces the sound. But if the air is not coming out, it's very hard to produce a sound. And if you do produce it, it's going to be like internal. And if it is internal, then it is very hard to hear. Right? When you say walab, you hear this? Walab, walab, it's like internal sound. So that's why they say this, in the case of the dad, when it has a sukoon, it is a halak and a quarter to be able to hear that sound. And the other case is the case that we have today in front of us, is the case of the noon and the mim whenever they have a shadda. Whenever they have a shadda, we're going to make them longer. This is the argument of Brother Mahmoud last time when we spoke about this. But what I was mentioning last time we spoke about it, I was referring to any letter in the Arabic language. If we pick any letter, that letter will have one haraka. Right? This is considered an exception. The dad and the noon and the mim. Right? So the question was, and it is recorded in the video, is that we're talking about any letter. And we talked about the idgham without the ghunna. This is how we started talking about this. When we mentioned the idgham without the ghunna, we said the idgham without the ghunna has only one haraka. Has only one haraka. And a letter with the shadda has one haraka. Right? And if you think about this, noon that have a shadda and the mim that have a shadda, it is in fact similar to the dad that we just spoke about just now. When you pronounce the noon and the mim, the air is basically trapped, right? Your tongue, as I mentioned last time, is preventing the air from coming out. When you say inna, when you say in, your tongue is blocking the air from coming out. And when you say imma, it's the same thing. And it is similar to that what we said about the ba. It's like the air is not coming out, so the sound is going to be weak. And this is how we are basically amplifying the sound, is by giving it more time. Right? Giving it more time. And as a result, of course, when we talk about the noon and the mim, the air is coming out of the nose. So this is called what? The ghunna. So we want to hear this ghunna. So whenever we have a noon mushaddada, a noon with a shadda, or a mim with a shadda, we have to make two haraka, as we did for the idgham with the ghunna, and as we did for the ikhfa. So we give it two haraka. So this is one of the simplest rules, basically, the noon and the mim mushaddada. Usually when we have an open halaqa, we start with this because it's very simple. It's very simple to understand. Even if somebody never took tajweed, you tell him, if you find a noon with the shadda or a mim with the shadda, make it long. Very simple to explain and very simple to apply. And it's not it's not as tricky as the ikhfa, where you have to, think about where the point of articulation is and what to do with your tongue and this and that. You just have to pronounce the noon, but just make it longer. Pronounce the mim and make it longer. So here we have two haraka and we have a ghunna. Those are the two important features of the noon and the mim mushaddada. Alright, so if we find a word, let's say the word inna, and I tell you what is the rule here, you would tell me it's noon mushaddada. So we have to make two haraka and the ghunna, and the proof is that the noon has a shadda. Right? Simple, because the noon has a shadda. This is simple enough. I hope you agree. Too simple. Too simple. All right. The common mistake here. What is the common mistake? Anybody knows what is the common mistake here? Or shall we give an example first? Write down an example on the board first. Yes.
Participate. I should be a silent
You.
participant.
I think you have one session left, Brother Mahmoud.
Okay. Is that
So basically, you made it because next week is going to be the test. So
okay.
go ahead.
I mean, I think I hear some people like making ikhfa of this gunna, the gunna of the mim sakina and mim sakin, like as if it's some sort of like they miss like pronounce it. I think
Do you have an example in mind? Because I think you are referring to something different that we don't want to talk about it today, unless you have an example to.
nothing at all.
All right. If you find something, let me know. But
Okay.
so far, I think you are referring to something else. That I know what it is.
Oh yeah.
I know what it is, but it's something different. إخفاء الميم ميم الساكنة. Yeah, it's the إخفاء الميم الساكنة. Anybody else wants to try? Yes, brother.
To stress enough on the noon or the meme.
Yes, even though that's not the one I was referring to, I was referring to something more important, probably.
Not make
I may
it
say.
long.
Not make it long. This is what Brother Abu Yahya said. Not make it long enough. And this is not only specific to the noon al-mushaddada. It is specific to whenever we have a two haraka, whether it is ikhfa, whether it is idgham with ghunna, whether it is noon mushaddada, whether it is the mad. When we get to the mad, people don't make it long enough. That's why I always emphasize that you have to make it longer than what we are supposed to. If you make it longer, I don't deduct points. If you make it shorter, I will deduct points. Right? So this is what we agreed about. So it is indeed a common mistake is that people don't make it long enough. But there was something else. Yes,
Can you
Brother.
write an example?
Let's write an example. And a very common example in the Quran is in. It's a very common word in the Arabic language, and it is also very common in the Quran. Inna alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat, inna alladhina kafaru, and so on. It's very, very common. So here I have to say inna alladhina, for example. Inna alladhina. So I make it long. Inna alladhina. Or imma. This is also very common in the Quran. Imma. Very common word in the Quran. Yes? Azwajuhunna. Yes. This is a longer word. What do you notice in these three examples that we gave so far? What do you notice in these three examples that we gave so far?
It's at the end.
It is at the end. Jazakallah khair, Brother Luqman. So, does it only happen at the end?
Not in imma.
Yeah, imma. You can say that it's not at the end. I mean, it's a good argument. It's a good argument. But does it only happen at the end of a word? It could happen. All right, innama is also a good example where it happens at the beginning of a word or towards the beginning. Does it happen at the beginning of a word and in the middle and at the end? Can we say that it happens at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end? No?
It can happen
No.
at the beginning only if you have something before leading up to it, right?
At the beginning meaning the noon mushaddad is going to be the first letter, or the mim mushaddad is going to be the first letter. That's what I mean by the beginning. Yes, Brother Muslim.
Only like if in the state of like either there's another hukum, يعني
idgham mutamathilain or something like that, right?
All right.
But that's it. But the Arabic word doesn't start with a sakin.
All right. We said in Arabic, a word never starts with the shadda. Meaning with the sukun. When we say with the shadda, also we mean by that is a sukun. A word in Arabic language never starts with a sukun, and therefore never starts with the shadda. So we will never have this at the beginning of the word. We could have it in the middle or at the end. Yes, by the way.
In the ayah 48 from Surah Hud,
Mm-hmm.
minna, there's shaddi on the meme. اهبط إلى نهر بسلام minna.
So what is
Minna.
the problem there?
There's shaddi on the meme.
Oh, there's a shadda on the meme.
And also mimman ma'ak.
All right. All right. If you didn't hear me mention this before, here it is again. Whenever you find in this Quran, in this mushaf or a similar mushaf, a word starting with the shadda, it's not actually a shadda, right? It's not part of the word. It is used in this mushaf as a sign, right? It is used in this mushaf as a sign. And the sign here is that usually they use it for idgham without the ghunnah and some other signs to show that there is idgham without the ghunnah. You remember with in the idgham without the ghunnah, it is as if you are making tashdid on the letter of idgham without the ghunnah. But it is not part of the word, it's just a sign. That word, if you would start from it, you don't start with the shadda. Right? So it is used as a sign. It is not used as a shadda, as the shadda that we know. So a word never starts with a shadda or a sukun. All right? So you have to remember this. All right? So the common mistake, going back to the common mistake here, is that people, when they stop on a noon mushaddada or a mim mushaddada, they will not make it long at all. They will not make it long at all. Even if they don't usually make mistakes in the noon mushaddada, if it is found in the middle, when it gets to here, when they stop on this word, they would say azwajahun. But here we were supposed to say, even if we stop, we say azwajahun. Yes? All right. So this is the common mistake. The difference between this and between people not making it long enough everywhere, like they are consistent, they don't make it long enough, whether it is in the middle or at the end, is that this will happen to somebody who is more familiar with Tajweed. So it is you can say if somebody who is more knowledgeable about Tajweed, he shouldn't be making this mistake, right? If you would deduct points, you would deduct more for a person who knows Tajweed, because he's not supposed to make this mistake knowing and being able to do it properly if it is in the middle, or if he hadn't stopped on this. Right? If he doesn't stop, then he doesn't make a mistake. But if he stops, he makes the mistake. So we would deduct more points. Right? If you would deduct points from these two people. So this is the common mistake. And of course, the other common mistake, as we mentioned earlier, is that people don't make it long enough, whether it is in the middle or at the end. A common or a famous word you find in the Quran, especially Surah Al-Rahman, is the word Jan. The word Jan. So in the word Jan, and I remember listening to Sheikh Muhammad Ayyub, who used to be one of the A'imma of Haram al-Madani, when I was small, they used to play this Surah Al-Rahman, in the loudspeakers in the masjid before Jum'ah. In some Muslim countries, I believe they play Quran before Jum'ah. So they used to put this, and Sheikh Muhammad Ayub, he's probably recited Surah Al-Rahman probably better than anyone else in some recordings. And I remember that I didn't know Tajweed at the time, obviously, and I deducted this from listening to him, because when he used to stop on this word, he used to make it long here, right here. I'm not talking about the mud here. The mud here is very long. So that's why people, if they read this word, because they make it so long here, they don't bother making it long here. It's like, I already made an effort. Right? So you would say, Jan. Right? This is how it is read. This is how it is read. This is very wrong, because here we have when we get to the mud, we have 6 halakah here and 2 here. So you will run out of breath just by saying this word.
So in both those examples, it would be wrong if you went Janun and Aswajun. You have to cut it before the.
No, I mean you don't have to. In some cases, you don't have to stop. I mean, it could be in the middle of the ayah. But if you do stop, then you have to make it long as well. Right? That's why I was saying that somebody who knows Tajweed usually doesn't make a mistake if he doesn't stop on these things. But if he stops, then he would not make it long enough. And this is a common mistake. So the rule here is that we make 2 harakah, whether we stop or we continue. We have nun with shadda. Whether we stop or we continue, we make 2 harakah. Of course, we are not going to stop and say nun or nu. Right? We're going to put a sukoon on it, but we make it long. We say n instead of nu or nun. Right? So this is the difference.
And this is just for the noon and the meme.
Yes.
Shadda.
Yes,
So
this
if you
is.
stop at another letter that has a shadda, another word that ends with a shadda, you don't make it long.
Jazakallah khair. Yes, if you stop on any other letter, you don't make it long. This is exclusively to the noon and the meme that have a shadda. No other letter. So it has to be understood that we are talking specifically about the noon and the meme that have a shadda, not any other letter.
But naturally we double with the shidda, with the harf.
No, this is what.
Not doubly, but
No, yeah. The timing, yeah, we are not doubling the timing. This is what everyone has to understand. If we are dealing with any other letter, let's say a dal, right? This dal, in terms of timing, is equal to this one, in terms of timing. I know originally there used to be 2 dals and all that stuff, but now they are 1. Right? So before the history there were 2, but now they are 1, and they only take 1 harakah. So the timing of this one and this one is 1 harakah. It's the same. The timing is the same, except that they are pronounced differently. Right? This one is da and the other one is da, but the timing is the same. That means if you spend half a second saying this, you should spend half a second saying that. Right? If you spend a second saying da, you should spend 1 second saying the da with the shadda. So the timing is exactly the same. That's why we are saying that the 2 harakah here is only applicable if it is a noon or a meme with a shadda. No other letter. And that's why we said in the idgham without a ghunna, if you remember, we said the common mistake is that people would make it longer. right? We wanted them to make everything else longer, but no. When it comes to the idgham without a ghunna, they would make it longer. The idgham without a ghunna is similar to this, just one harakah, right?
For example, تبت يد أبي لهب وتب.
Here, in the word tab, it's a ba, so we are not making two harakat. But here, because there is a qalqala that we're going to get to it, inshallah, in other levels, it may sound as if we made it longer, but actually we didn't make it longer, right? It may sound as if we made it longer. Because when you read Surah An-Nas, for example, which is right next to it, in the other page, you say An-Nas, right? قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. It's much longer, right? And it's obvious that it is long. But when you say Tab, it's short. All right, I don't have much to say about this. It's I think it's simple enough, unless you have questions. I think the most important thing is that to put it into practice and knowing how to do it. That's why we'll try to maybe try to finish the reading today, because it's kind of longer than usual. We have Al-Adiyat, we have Al-Nas, and we have Hud 48. So let's try to put more time on the reading today. All right. Who started first last time? You started first. You started first. All right. So the new victim today is Brother Luqman.
Which surah?
Which one do you want to start with the Nas or Hud?
Oh, we're reading all three.
Let's read one at a time. You read one and then we come back in the second round. Which one do you want? Okay, let's do this. We'll do something
Nas.
different today.
Nas.
No, I just remembered something that I wanted to do, and because of this we're gonna start with Surah Hud, but I want everyone to close their mushaf or tablet, phone, and don't look at it now. Brother Mustafa, are you looking at it? All right, only the person who is reading, obviously.
Oh, the person reading.
So-
Okay. I was going to say, I've not memorized.
All right, everyone has their mushaf closed? Okay, don't open your mushaf until I say your name. So, I guess most of you don't memorize. Who memorizes Surah Hud? I remember that we memorized Surah Hud in a halaqah like this, where we did the tafsir and we did some fiqh, and we asked everyone to memorize it. Of course, not everyone succeeded. This is what usually happens when we start memorizing. Surah Hud is very interesting. And this ayah, are you preparing for development?
Am I preparing?
Yeah.
No. I'm now on the verse.
You found it?
Yes.
All right.
48, right?
All right. So just read it. I'm not going to stop you, and then I will comment on it.
Okay.
And of course, listen with me so that we together, inshallah, try to analyze it. All right, go ahead, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قيل ينوه آبت بسلام منا بركاته عليك وعلى ممن معك وأمام سنمياتهم ثم يسهم منا عذاب عليم.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Luqman. You see, when you read, as I mentioned before, when you read something that you don't memorize, you said most of you don't memorize this, right? Anybody memorize it? I didn't see any hands, but I'm asking again. All right. When you read something that you don't memorize and you don't usually read, all your mistakes will will come out floating. Right? So there was a lot of mistakes there. What I want you to fix first, Brother Luqman,
Yes.
and I wrote it down in your folder, is the pronunciation. Right? And I wrote down for you 3 letters last time. And whoever has this problem, you need to fix this because you're going to be held accountable in the day of the test. The day of... So the dal and the dha, the dal and the dad, or the dha and the tha, right? So this is the first thing you need to. What else did you notice when Brother Luqman read?
He's my friend. I'm not gonna comment.
All right. You need to fix those things so that we can fix other things. Right. I believe you tried to put 2 haraka on the noon mushaddada. And anyone remembers that we mentioned this ayah during Ramadan?
Yeah.
What did we say about this ayah during Ramadan?
The most noons, mushaddadas and stuff.
The worst, the most noons or memes. Memes. And one brother, I can't remember who, mentioned that there is another surah or another ayah that has more memes, which happened to be a page long. But in terms of a short ayat, I don't know, I don't remember who said this. It is true, I mean, but in terms of like normal size ayat, other than a full page, this one has the most memes in it, right? Which means it's a good practice because it has a lot of noons, noon mushaddada and mim mushaddada. And it's very rare that a person reads it like once and get it right all the way. So that's why we are reading it in this way without looking at the mushaf and trying to prepare and make sure it's to a haraka. So, Jazakallah khair, Brother Luqman. Next is Brother Adil. Brother Adil.
Can I keep?
You can keep it open now because you already read. Yeah, only you. Go ahead, Brother Adil.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. So what do you think of Brother Adil's reading? Good? Alright, you want to stay friends? Alright, you notice when you say قِيلَ يَا نُوحُ اهْبِطْ, is that how you said it? قِيلَ يَا نُوحُ اهْبِطْ. When we join it, we don't pronounce the hamza as the word bismi, like we had it written on the board earlier. قِيلَ يَا نُوحُ اهْبِطْ. قِيلَ يَا نُوحُ اهْبِطْ. So we don't pronounce the hamzat al-wasl in the word ihbit, right? Unless you start from it. So if you start from it, how would you say it? Ihbit or ahbit or uhbit? Ihbit. All right. This is like a level 4 stuff. Inshallah, we'll come back to it. But to avoid this situation, when you are joining it, you don't pronounce the hamzat al-wasl. The first one, and then in the mim and mushaddada and the noon, you didn't make it long enough. For most of them, you didn't make it long enough, right? Especially وَعَلَى أُمَمٍ مِّمَّن مَّعَكَ. This is extra long. You should lose your breath right here. You should be out of breath right here. If you were not out of breath right here, that means you didn't make it long enough, right? So Jazakallah khair, and we need more practice on this one. Next is Brother Abdullah. Go ahead and open it. You can keep the mushaf open, Brother Adil.
قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى أمم ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Alright, Jazakallah khair. What did we notice here?
I don't want to be his friend.
So you want to tell him his mistakes? Alright, ihbit, we just spoke about it. You said قِيلَ يَنُوحُ ihbit. I forgot what you said, but you said you pronounce the Hamza al-Wasl. If you continue, you don't pronounce it. قِيلَ يَنُوحُ اهْبِط يَنُوحُ اهْبِط. You don't say يَنُوحُ اهْبِط. And أُمَمٍ مِّمَّن مَّعَكَ, you pronounce it as if there was just one meme. أُمَمٍ مِّن. You said أُمَمٍ مِّن. It's mimman. So you missed the meme. So we need a lot more precision. And you said سَنُمَتِّعُهُم. And in fact it is سَنُمَتِّعُهُم. Right? So we need more precision. And more timing. Longer. Noon mushaddada, mim mushaddada, longer. Alright? Jazakallah khair. Next is Brother Mus'ab is here. Brother Mus'ab, you only have one left. I guess you are like Brother Mahmoud. Go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى أمم ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. So what do we think about Brother Mus'ab?
Said minna, he didn't make it long enough.
He didn't make it long enough?
Yeah.
Alright. What else? He did have some trouble. قِيلَ يَا نُوحُ اهْبِطْ يَا نُوحُ اهْبِطْ. I mean, a lot of people will have an issue with this one. It's kind of hard to pronounce, right? It's kind of hard to pronounce. And we want you to read slower so that you can make nice two haraka, right? A nice two haraka. Make it as long as possible. Alright? Okay, Jazakallah khair. Alright, next we have Brother Sharif.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى أمم ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. Brother Sharif, we still dealing with قيل يا نوح اهبط يا نوح. So we have a ha, and then you have to jump directly to the ha. يا نوح. You don't pronounce the Hamzat al-Wasl in between. Right? So this is the ha of Nuhu, and this is the ha of ihbit. So basically you're joining this. Ya Nuhu bit. Ya Nuhu. Ya Nuhu bit. Like this. So when you see it on the board, it probably makes it a lot easier to say. And then, as I mentioned to Brother Abdullah, we need more precision. You said yamussuhum, you said, instead of yamassuhum. You put a dhamma on the meme. And the timing was good. We just wanted a little more longer, inshallah. All right. Jazakallah khair. Brother Mahmoud. Ayah 48.
قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. This is probably the best one so far, with my respect to the previous ones. Any comment here? Wa'ala, do you make it longer usually?
No.
You don't make it longer.
I make faster.
All right, all right, all right. Any comment? Or he's your friend? All right. Jazakallah khair. Brother Hanif.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. Just a little bit longer. A little bit longer. You have probably heard Brother Mahmoud that was making it longer than it is supposed to be, and this is what we want. We want to make it longer than it's supposed to be, so that it will later on shrink and go back to normal. So a little bit longer and maybe a little bit slower, so that you have time. You have time to think about the rule and give it more time, right? The slower you are reading, the easier it is to apply the rules. Jazakallah khair.
Just to share something.
Yes.
I was in a halaqah one time and a new guy came and he was asking me to pronounce letter by letter and go very slow, and that's how you perfect like the Tajweed. He was like, whenever I go a little bit fast, I say, oh, slow down and go letter by letter, and the exit of each letter and all that. So that's how, like, inshallah, yani, for everybody is like my experience with that. Go very slow. Take a deep breath first, because otherwise you will run out of breath in the middle. But yeah, take a deep breath and go slow from one letter to the other. Give it tashkil, give it the hukm. Yeah, that's how
All right.
I learned that.
And if you have time, you can see Brother Mahmoud in the masjid. I'm sure he will. Don't mind. He will not mind helping out. Right, Brother Mahmoud?
Jazakumullah, yani, I can help anytime, yani.
Inshallah, you can.
Learning.
You can share. I mean, you have Brother Mahmoud and you have a few other brothers. I don't want to mention names, who are more advanced. So you can maybe spend more time. You can read the stuff that we read here and practice it more. This ayah is very, very good practice. This ayah, the timing in this ayah. If you get the timing in this ayah, is something incredible, because the timing will show right away if it is not done properly. Right? Because everything has to be consistent. The two haraka has to be consistent. Right? Jazakallah khair.
I have a question.
Yes,
ممن معك.
Yes.
الحكم نون ساكنة إدغام بغنة أم معنى خطأ؟
Idgham, of course, Noon Sakina is followed by Mim, and the Mim is one of the letters of Idgham with Ghunna. So we do have two haraka, yes. Two. If you look at the word Mimman, okay, not all of you have the Mus'haf open. You don't have to open the Mus'haf. So here it is. Or let's come back to it when everyone reads. Everyone had read, we'll come back to it, so that everyone has an idea of what we are talking about. All right. Brother Ahmed.
قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. Just a tiny bit longer. It would sound better, right? I know it's just enough. It's a 2 haraka, just enough. But if you make it just a tiny bit longer, just to make sure it's nicely done, it will even sound better, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Brother Ahmed. Brother Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. When you went back to thumma, you didn't make it to haraka, right? So if you go back, thumma, and every time you stop and repeat something, you have to read it the same way, right? I mean, a lot of people it happened to most of us, when we panic and try to go back and maybe we forgot the ayah or we are reciting during salah and stuff, we tend to read it differently because now we are in a panic mode basically. So we try to read it the same way. Go back, read it the same way. ثُمَّ يَمَسُّهُمْ. Alright? Jazakallah khair. Brother Mustafa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. I guess now you learn from the experience of others, learn from their mistakes. So the people who read last, they shouldn't make any mistakes. Alright, Jazakallah khair. I don't have any comments unless somebody has a comment. Alright, Jazakallah khair. Brother Yahya first.
قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركة عليك وعلى أمم ممن معك وأمم.
Brother Abu Yahya, you don't have to read it. You're going to be that next. Look away. He can do it. No, continue. I was just telling him not to look at the mushaf. He can continue. Ayah 48. Continue.
وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. You look at the word ya Nuhun. Qila ya Nuhu. You said ya Nuhu. You didn't make mad, and there is a small alif on top of it, right? So you say ya Nuhu, ya Nuhu, and also barakatin. There is an alif after the kaf. بركات. And أمم سنمتعهم. What is the rule in أمم?
Was there إخفاء or something?
إخفاء or something? Or is it إخفاء? Alright, you agree with him? Yes, it is إخفاء, so you have to make two حركة. أمم سنمتعهم. Alright? Okay, جزاك الله خير. Brother Abu Yahya should be ready by now.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Alright, Jazakallah khair. We want you to read a little bit slower than this so that you can make it sound nicer. And وَأُمَمٌ سَنُمَتِّعُهُمْ, like we said last week, for the people who are advanced, we shouldn't keep our lips perked after we say وَأُمَمٌ, right? We shouldn't say وَأُمَمٌ سَا, وَأُمَمٌ سَا. So we should say وَأُمَمٌ سَا. That means your lips have to go back and prepare for the scene, right? Because the scene doesn't have a dhamma. All right? Jazakallah khair. Brother Baghdad. Ayah 48.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى أمم ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم.
Jazakallah khair. Who read this at home? 1, 2, 3. All right. Did you read it at home, Brother Baghdad? All right. What's the rule in mimman? Mimman.
There is shadda in both memes, so I need to apply them.
All right. All right. You agree with him? He said there is shadda on both memes, so we have to apply this rule. Yeah. You agree with him, brother?
There is also nun sakin at the end.
There is also nun sakin at the end.
Yeah.
What's the rule there?
Follow with them.
Tell me the rule first.
Huh?
What's the rule?
So the rules of the nun sakina,
Hmm?
we need to see the letter is coming.
So what's the name of the rule?
It's idgham, yuqna.
Idgham bi-ghunna. Alright, so do you agree with him? Brother Hanif, you were going to say something?
First, the shadda on the first meme is not related to this word, mimman. It's related to the previous word, umaman. Umamin. So, that's just it.
Alright, so the first shadda is actually not part of the word at all. Right? It's not a shadda, we mentioned it earlier. It's not a shadda, it's not related to the word mimman. So we don't have to actually talk about it. Right?
How do we know that?
Because a word never starts with a shadda.
Okay.
Right? The shadda that we have to mention is the meme, the second meme. The second meme has a shadda, so the rule of meme mushaddada applies. And the noon sakina, you were correct, it has idgham with the ghunna. And the problem is that you didn't do idgham with the ghunna. Right? You said man ma'ak. You said mim man ma'ak. This is how you said it. So you did two haraka on the meme, but you didn't do the two haraka on the noon. Salam Allah. And the word thumma, you didn't do two haraka on the meme. Thumma. And also I believe in the noon after that, noon mushaddad after that. So I think it's a good exercise if we work on this ayah some more. We work on it some more so that we can get a little bit of practice. As I said, timing is important, so you have to be able to listen to it quite a bit. Not just once, you listen to it quite a bit so that you develop the timing and so that you can imitate the timing. Let me read it now and then see how we're doing in terms of time. قيل يا نوح اهبط بسلام منا وبركات عليك وعلى ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم يمسهم منا عذاب أليم. So we kind of run out of time. I don't know if we can. There won't be time to read one more surah. So if you want, we can, instead of doing the test next week, we can push the text one more week. I think we need it. but we want you to, or at least many of you, to do more effort to actually practice. I mean, we are postponing this so that we can have more time to practice this and to perfect it more. Unless you were perfect today in reading this ayah, you need to do a lot more effort to get it right. This ayah is basically I came up with it as a test. If you want to test somebody, give him this ayah, and all his mistakes will show up basically. So it's a good test. If he is professional in Tajweed, he will read it right. If not, then all his mistakes will be exposed in this ayah. Not to put down anybody, just if somebody wants to learn, this is how you do it, right? To be able to read it, we should get to a level where you open the Mus'haf from anywhere and you should be able to read it without mistakes. And we are reading it from the Mus'haf. It's not like you're reading it from memory, right? It's much easier to read it from the Mus'haf than to recite it from memory. So we should get to that level where I ask you to open from anywhere and you will be able to read it without too many mistakes. So today our level have been like exposed. So we need to work more, inshallah, on this. So what do you suggest? Postpone the test and do one more week of this? Did anybody practice in the masjid or somewhere with the other people? Didn't happen? All right, try to find somebody to work with, inshallah, in the masjid or anywhere else, or Tim Hortons or something. and put in some practice, inshallah. Read this ayah again, listen to it, and you can read also Surah Al-Adiyat, Surah Al-Nas. Surah Al-Nas is also good practice for noon, mushaddada, especially. Surah Al-Adiyat is also one of my favorite. It's also good practice. And this surah, you will not find this ayah in Surah Hud, you will not find like a single ayah that has all these noon and mim mushaddada, compressed in like just a short ayah. Question?
Yeah, I just have one request.
Yes.
Could you pronounce mim ma as there is no shadda on the mim? Just
if you start from it, you say mim mam ma'ak. If you start from it, you are not going to make it long, the first mim. Right? So you say mim, you're jumping to the second mim.
Yes.
But if you start before it, then because of the idgham, because before it we have tanween, mim, followed by mim, and the mim is one of the letters of idgham with ghunna, so we have idgham with ghunna. That's why we have two haraka. That's why we say mim mam ma'ak, right? And here the timing has to be perfect, otherwise the flow will show right away. You will hear clearly that the person didn't do correct timing. And it is a common mistake. The common mistake here is that even if a person knows how to make two haraka, and he's usually making a good two haraka, he will not make them equal. That means he would say mim ma'ak. It shows here that the second one was not equal in terms of timing to the first one or the third one. Right? We have two haraka, two haraka, two haraka. Right? This is what is more important. Right? Not only to master the two haraka, but to make them equal, because the two haraka is not an actual time, right? Let's say we cannot say that two haraka is 2 seconds. Right? You could make it 2 seconds, and if you do, the 2 seconds here has to be equal to the 2 seconds there, to be equal to the 2 seconds there, right? So in this case, you have to 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. You cannot do like 2 seconds, second and a half, 2 seconds, right? It will be clear that you didn't make them equal. So it's not an actual time. It depends on how fast you are reading. If a person is reading slow, that means his 2 seconds will be longer than if a person is reading fast. Right? Any questions? So we'll stop here, inshallah. And next week we'll read the... We can try to, if you want, we can try to read this one more time, hopefully to show that you made like a good improvement, and then we'll read the other ones. So next week we are not going to have a lesson unless you have questions, but we're just going to read this before the test, right? And if there is time, we can read something else as well. All right. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت. أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.